Chookas! Hello everybody, and my name is James.
My name is Neil. Today we got Joesph, Frangie.
That's it. You got it.
I was just discussing before about how I should introduce you, but I was a bit confused, you know what I'm saying? Like,
asking me what my last name is.
Mate, really happy that you came on board and come have a chat with us, you know. And
Thank you, bro.
It's been a while, so I guess, from my point of view, I've known him a few years now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah, because we did that class together, the classes in Redfern together. So that's where I met Joesph, and since then, somewhat we've been staying in touch, you know. But I mean, obviously, everyone in the creative industry, they're doing their own things. But
gets like that.
Yeah. And since then, you've done a little bit, and you've been
bro, lots changed. Yeah, man. Much different version of myself now than what you knew before.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's just get into it, man. Like, what have you been like? Let's first start off with the beginning. Like to everyone else, is that how did you start off you're an actor, right? So.
All right. It's a long story. How do I start off? My sister did a few classes in NIDA, my older sister, and she kind of passed down some things onto me at a very young age. My first performance, I guess, was like Year 7 talent show. It was like my first monologue in front of like a whole Catholic Lebanese school, like kindergarten to Year 12, probably like 2,000 students. Then I got expelled from that school in Year 7.
Wow. Because of the monologue.
Well, it was just that bad, bro. Like,
I was going to say it's just that good. They were just like, go to acting school already.
No, just from a number of things, man. Like, I was a rebellious kid, right? And this is like a super Catholic private school, right? Like, you know, and I had a lot of questions and a lot of doubts. And I didn't get along with very much of like the nuns or the teachers. The nuns were rough, man, honestly.
Yeah.
But it just got to a point where they were like, you're gonna have to look for a different school. It wasn't even like one big massive thing. Like, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. Right. You know what I mean? Like, my dad was like a goat farmer from Lebanon, right? And he used to save up money from selling goat's milk, bought 100 chairs, and then would rent out those chairs to parties and events, and saved up enough money to get a ticket to come to Australia.
Wow.
Like 27, met my mum. They got married a week later because her parents were like, if you want to, you have to marry her. My mum, the same, like eldest of 7 children, got pulled out of school to help her mum cook for the kids. So, you know, like 2 kind of like war-torn parents that like never really had an education, right? And then you have me, who's like the youngest of 6 kids. So like kind of the lost child. But all these kids went through this Catholic school, and they all kind of, you know, were brought up in that. And I got expelled, and me and a few of my other siblings, because of me, went to Fairfield High. Them for like their latest, like the later years, and me, I got there at about Year 8. And Fairfield High was a crazy change, man, to go from like an all private Catholic Lebanese school to go to like one of the most violent schools in New South Wales, one of the most multicultural schools in New South Wales. Like, I get into a fight on my first day of school with this guy who's like my best friend now. Like, I went to the beach with him on the weekend. And there's like riot squad outside of the school on Fridays. Bro, like some guy cut some guy's head open with a machete. Like, this is the kind of school, to go from like church every Friday and read the Bible or this, that. I haven't read the Bible. But, you know what I mean? It was just a big shake-up for me, which was great. Like, I loved it, you know what I mean? Like, because you learn things that, you know, you would have learned in a private school, you know what I mean? Like, just about all the different nationalities and the multiculturalism. And it was just great, you know what I mean? Like, just the life lessons. Yeah. And so I fell in love with drama, and then auditioned for a performing arts school for Year 11 and 12.
Oh, wait. Okay. Good. Great. Hold on. Let's skip back a bit. Yeah. So Fairfield, multicultural, violent. By the end of it, you want to go to a drama school. How did that work out?
Well, I guess I fell in love with drama. Yeah. Drama class. And I had good teachers. You know what I mean? And I guess I knew from an early age that this was what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, my sister first kind of ignited that passion, and then I kind of explored that passion, and fell in love with her, started to fall in love with her, decided, you know, I would audition for this school that was in Harris Park. Got an offer, but bro, it was so expensive, right? Like this school, to go from like a government funded school to go into this school now, which was like 13 grand a year.
Yeah.
Bro, it was like, I think 2008, I didn't even see my mum, bro. My mum's raising 6 kids and she goes and works 2 fucking jobs just to put me into this performing arts school, right? Little shit that I am, you know what I mean? And I had a bad relationship with my father, right? And there was a lot of like, you know, trauma there, you know, and he was in and out of Lebanon, and obviously he had to like take care of, because his brother died in the war in Lebanon, so he kind of had to take care of his brother's family as well, you know what I mean? So he was sending a lot of money back to Lebanon and going to Lebanon and kind of looking after them as well, you know. So it was a rough situation, right? I didn't have the best kind of like, you know, father figures in my life at a young age, you know what I mean? And so here's my mum working 2 jobs to put me into this performing arts school, and then I land my first professional gig on Disney Channel.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. So I think I'm like the first ever Lebanese Disney kid, honestly.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
wow.
Like, so I get the Disney comes to my school. They're like, we're looking for a really goofy kid. My principal's like, I know just the guy. I got this big fucking afro and a bit of a monobrow before like this. These girls took some tweezers to it, bro. When I was younger, these girl best friends I had, you know, I've been plucking my eyebrows ever since, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what I mean? I got this Disney thing. And that's where I started, bro. Like, I kicked off from there. And then I ended up getting a job at Chookas, Sand Churros, on Church Street, Parramatta. Yeah, bro. When I was like in year 11, year 12 in this performing arts school. And it was run by these 2 guys, these 2 Masso brothers, Chris and Bobby Atesky. And these guys became my family, you know what I mean? They were kind of like, I guess, the father figures in my life that, you know, I was lacking, you know what I mean? And they were super open-minded, bro, and just super intelligent. And it's what kind of kickstarted my open-mindedness and I guess my questioning my own religion, you know, especially coming from a strong Catholic background and just to question everything, really, man. And that's where my kind of state of mind begun, you know. And I was on and off there for like 5 years, you know, fired or quit, and like, you know, but we're family, so I kept coming back, but I got pressured by my principal to drop out 1 month before the year 12 exam. Yeah, bro, because I was like doing a bunch of shifts at work, but I was getting caught up with this one girl as well, and I was missing some classes, you know, young, dumb things, right? And yeah, bro, my principal just came up to me one day and kind of like, bro, you don't want to be here, just like come into the room, sign the paper, just leave, you know what I mean, kind of thing. Just kind of pressured me to drop out, and I kind of just buckled, bro. I didn't really have a father figure, right? So, and my mum worked 2 jobs to put me in this school, you know what I mean? So I look back now and it's like, it's a shit go, it is what it is, but you know what I mean? Like, I kind of just buckled, and the HSCs were on, and so there wasn't really any of like the acting classes going, and that's the main thing I wanted to do. I didn't really care about the piece of paper, so I kind of just buckled and signed it and dropped out, right? A month before the year 12 exam, you know what I mean? Like, fool is what it is, but you know what I mean? So I started doing 60-hour weeks at Churros, trying to save up for a car, bought my first car, lost my license after 3 months, and then sold that car to my brother for like, my dad was like, oh, just sell it to him for 3 grand and I'll give you 2 grand and Chucky will give you $1 grand now. I'm like, yeah, mad. Didn't say that 2 grand for like 10 years later. That is what it is. I got it back, like he did well, but yeah, so the money that I had from that car, I went and I shipped it all to the Actors Pulse. So I was like 16, 17 years old, and you know, like I just dropped out of this school, but I knew I loved acting, and I knew I wanted to pursue the craft of acting. So I was sussing out some places, and man, as the first class I saw, the very first time I saw Meisner, bro, like I get emotional saying it, like my whole world stopped, bro. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I looked at Meisner, bro, he saved me, bro. Meisner saved me, you know what I mean? Because, like, you're a young Lebanese kid, bro. Like, there's a lot of trouble around you. You know, people in your life, friends in your life, cousins, relatives. Like, it's a fine line, bro. You know what I mean? And you could dive down deep in that dark hole, bro, and that kind of criminality. You know what I mean? And I think the art's really saved me, you know what I mean? But yeah, fell in love with Meisner. Was on and off at the Pulse for like 2 years because I would always run out of money, and then I would go and work a bunch to save up money and then come back and go and come back and go and come back. So whenever I would come back, Billy would make me start again.
Oh,
so it's beginner to intermediate, intermediate to advanced, right? So I did beginner Meisner about 4 times, bro.
Wow.
Just hashing out beginner Meisner, repetition, the activities indoors, just over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And then I quit for a year at about 19 years old, and I went and worked full-time in cafes because I had been a barista and an actor since I was 15 to pay for acting lessons, right? Because my sister was in the coffee as well. She got me my first job at Starbucks. And so I'd been pumping coffee and acting. And so I was just pumping coffee for a year, trying to make a bunch of money. Was like, regional barista manager for Oliver Brown.
Wow.
Yeah, at 19, making like $1,000 a week, bro. It was mad, I was pumping like 6 shifts a week. But then I got into a scruff, you know what I mean? Like young and dumb and strong ego, you know what I mean? And prideful culture. So like this one guy arcs up to me that I work with, and it was over like cinnamon sugar or something, you know what I mean? Because there's 2 sugars, bro. There's like the chai powder you put on top of the chai lattes, and the cinnamon sugar you put on top of the churros. And
they're completely different.
Yeah, someone keeps switching them, bro. I'm like, bro, did you switch my sugars? He's like, fuck your sugar, bro. We're just getting into it. We're getting pumped, you know what I mean? So we have a massive fight in front of customers.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And then the head office fires me, but like the owner loved me, so like a couple of months went by, and that guy got into a fight with quit as well, and then I got accepted into New York Film Academy, and then I was deciding what to do. My boss called me and he offered me a bunch of money. I was a 19-year-old kid, you know what I mean, and it was a lot of money he put on the table at that age, especially at that time. It was cash too, bro, Lebos, you know what I mean. And I was thinking about it, bro. And my older brother, I've got 2 brothers, 3 sisters, but one of my brothers, the eldest, but the one just above me is about a year older than me, Chucky. And everyone that knows me knows how much Chucky has been like my guardian angel in my life, you know what I mean? Like I'd be fucked up in the middle of nowhere, and Chucky would be the one to come and rescue me every time, you know what I mean? But I just remember this moment, bro, it seared into my brain, you know what I mean? Where I was sitting in my room and I was contemplating her. And Chucky probably doesn't even know this, but Chucky walks into my room. And I was deciding whether to take the job or get a knife out. And he's like, Joey, you're an actor, not a fucking barista. And he walks out. And then I just fucking bawl my eyes out, cuz. You know what I mean? Like, bawl my fucking eyes out, cuz. And then obviously the decision was clear, So I went to New York Film Academy. I remember the first day, bro, orientation day. It was wild. This guy comes from the States. He's talking up a big game. He's like, yeah, we got this one student, overseas. He did 21 short films in 1 year. And that for me, big ego, I was like, oh, yeah? 21, you reckon? Oh, okay. Anyway, so I ended up finishing up the year doing 27 short films, bro.
Jeez.
Yeah, broke the record worldwide, you know what I mean? The guy underneath me did 13. Majority of my intake did 1 or 2. But I didn't get my diploma because I didn't do my assignments because I was too busy making short films, bro. Like we do like 4 short films on a weekend sometime. Jeez. But that's just an excuse. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I could have done the assignments as well as done the films, and they gave me plenty of time after the course was over to even do the assignments. But that just wasn't me. Like, I just didn't care about the paper. You know what I mean? Like, I never cared about the paper. I just wanted to make art, and you could see that with my work, with how many short films I did. The filmmakers noticed it because there was an acting stream and a filmmaking stream. So as actors, you have to. It was like a little industry. You have to network with the filmmakers. You know what I mean? You then have to go to set and produce your art, and then all the filmmakers are gonna watch that film. So if you're there and you're rocking and rolling, man, they're gonna know. Like they're gonna want you in their shorts as well, right?
Yeah.
And so I busted my ass doing that. Didn't get the paper, but it didn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I got what I needed. I had a bunch of stuff to showcase. Still couldn't get an agent in Australia. even though I sent out a bunch of stuff. But I ended up landing a lead role in my first short film. In my first feature film called Roommates. So I graduated 2014. So it was about mid 2015. I did my first feature film where I was the lead, but director, editor, they have troubles, they have problem with post-production, so the film never gets made.
Yeah.
Even though I just spent the last 140 hours filming the thing, busting my ass for no money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't get made, is what it is. My friends are going to Canada at the end of the year, and my family had this house in Guildford for 30 years. And these kind of like seedy kind of salesmen, like real estate guys, came to buy the house off my dad, offered him some money. And my dad's like, I wouldn't sell the house for less than $1 million. So the guys come back 2 weeks later, offer my dad $1 million. Little did he know everything around the area, you know what I mean? Because it was a housing boom in Guildford, was going for like 1.4, 1.5, you know what I mean, at auction.
Jeez.
Little did he know. My dad, you know, war-torn country, he sees $1 million, he's like, let's go, brother, $1 million.
Yeah.
Sells his house for $1 million. They realized, you know, they fucked up. So they got like 4 months to find a new house, a new home, you know what I mean? So they had to move all the way out to Mount Pritchard. Ended up finding this property in this battle axe. Little did I know, it's right next to Housing Commission. So as soon as we move in, bro, it's chaos, bro. People are stealing stuff off my mum's clothesline.
Wow.
People are swearing at us. Once a week, I get called a wog cunt by this Aussie guy with the Aussie flag in his window. He gets drunk every day and just calls me a wog cunt once a week, you know. And my bedroom, which is a storage room, branched off the house, is directly opposite to his bedroom. So I'm like sleeping in a storage room in this new house. My friends were going to Canada a couple months after we moved in, and my dad gave all the kids $10,000 when he sold the house. You know what I mean? So he sold the house, gave all the kids $10,000, and then he spent majority of it on his family in Lebanon. You know what I mean? You know, like kudos to him, right? Like there's my $2,000 back from the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get that back with interest. You know, like never ever had a fucking handout, but like he was something that I could possibly, you know, change my life with. So I went to Canada with my friends, blew $5,000 in the first month on drinking and partying and holidaying, you know, silly 21-year-old, right? And yeah, bro, my friends left, and then I saw all the film trucks on the street, and I started talking to people, and people were like, yeah, this is North Hollywood, you know, LA, the American dollar's so good, and they come here to film productions because they get tax benefits on, you know, hiring local talent. So it's a great place to start out. And as an Australian, you can get a Commonwealth visa if you're under 30. You can get an open, because we're both Commonwealth, you can get an open work visa, and you can stay there for 2 years. So my friends left, and I decided to stay. This girl that I was in love with, I fell in love with at New York Film Academy. We had a lot of ups and downs, but we realized we were kind of still in love with each other. So she flew, you know, to the other side of the world and came and lived with me. You know, I was so scared to leave the house in the first 2 months, you know what I mean? Because it was all so foreign, but, you know, we made it work. And then the place I was living at was on top of a jazz bar. And it just so happened to be like my roommate ended up being a convicted con man, wanted by the Royal Canadian Mountain Police.
Okay.
So this guy borrows $600 off me. He's like, bro, I just need it like for rent, blah, 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 blah. They're asking for it early. I'm like, yeah, no worries. I got $800 in my account left. This was April, you know what I mean? I got there in December. So GG to that 10 grand, bro. Because it's the emotional money. I don't know what I'm doing with money.
Yeah.
I don't know how to handle money. This 10 grand has just been given to me. I blew 5 grand in the first month, bro, because I didn't make it myself. I didn't know what I was doing with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that 10 grand was gone by April, bro. It was out of there. By the time my missus got there, I had 800 in the bank, 200 now, because this lad just rented $600 off me and then skipped town the next day. I have Italians knocking on my door at 3 a.m. in the morning, the guys who deal coke on the street, asking, where's Stefan? Where is he? He owes us 5 grand.
Jeez.
And I'm like, brother, I'm just trying to make spaghetti in my kitchen. Like, you're more than welcome to come upstairs. And so they come upstairs, they're like, You know, it's a whole nother story. We won't get into that one, but it gets a bit wild, bro. They stay till like 7 a.m.
Wow.
You know what I mean? My missus is trying to sleep, but yeah, anyways, they end up leaving.
Yeah, but like, this is the greatest spaghetti I've ever tasted.
I was trying to make friends with them, but hey, look at my coffee that I do, bro. Look at the patterns. But they're nice guys, honestly. Like, we got along quite a bit, you know what I mean? And
That's how I became a Coke dealer in Vancouver.
but they ended up leaving. And then my roommate comes up to me, the other one, right? He's the chef of the jazz bar underneath us. He comes up to me the next day and he's like, listen, bro, they're kicking us out. They're going to turn the place into an Airbnb to make their money back. And I'm like, brother, I just paid for the month's rent. And he's like, it doesn't matter. You got to go. And so we get kicked out on our ass, bro. My girlfriend bawling her eyes out. You know what I mean? We're in the middle of, we're at some hostel. You know what I mean? But I was just like on the Wi-Fi at like the equivalent of what Westfields is there. Just like hustling for places, bro. Like the most hyper focused I've ever been, because it's not only me now. Like it's different when I'm on my own. It's like I can take the struggle, you know. I can delve deep and dark. But I had my girl with me. You know what I mean? I saw the effect it was having on her. So like I was really hustling to try and find a place. You know what I mean? And then we found a place. He said, you know, come look at the place tomorrow. Or like I told him my situation and he was like, bro, just come move in. I've just built the place and there's 4 bedrooms, you know what I mean? Like, you know, come pick one. And I'm like, beautiful, right? And I'm like, I could see how like rough the hostel was for my girl, especially on the first night, because it was so lonely, bro, sleeping in these weird beds, you know what I mean? Like in the middle of nowhere. And I just had this idea, bro, because this is Canada, you know what I mean? This is like cannabis country, you know what I mean? Like this was like bud central of the world. So my idea was that I was going to go to like the communal area where everyone sits and I was going to cut cardboard and I was going to make roaches. And I'm like, if anyone notices what I'm doing, these are the people that I'm going to want to hang out with.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I ended up working at a marijuana dispensary anyways. We'll get to that. But so I start rolling this roach and these Dutch guys straight away come and sit next to me. He's like, oh, you rolling a roach, huh? I'm like, yeah, but you smoke? He's like, yeah, we love to smoke. I'm like, all right, let's go. So one of the worst experiences ended up turning out to be one of the best experiences, because the next thing I know, I'm surrounded by like 10 internationals who are just playing music outside in some park on some bench and we're smoking a J. And it just ended up being one of the most beautiful things. And then they were like, hey, bro, we'll drive you to your house tomorrow. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah, bro, just put your bags in our car, you know what I mean? We'll drive you. So it ended up being quite a beautiful thing. We ended up living there for a bit, and then we ended up finding our own place. Then I ended up working at the marijuana dispensary while pushing the acting. I worked at a cafe in the start, and there was this director called Michael Bafaro, and he was making a bunch of indie films and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we started getting to talking, and he knew I was an actor, and he gave me a shot at my first feature film there, you know what I mean, called My Phone, which I didn't get to watch until like 5 years later, which seems to be the pattern, bro. I don't understand. It's like, filmmakers, please send the actors their stuff, bro. Like I worked for exposure for 13 years, man. You know what I mean? Like we work for exposure. We put our heart on the line. You know what I mean? Like we paid to be there. At least send us our footage so that we may potentially get an agent to potentially get paid work. Like I'm making stuff that like and the films fall through. I don't even get sent my footage. I'm making a feature film in Canada, and I don't see the feature film until 5 years later. And apparently, I've won an award for best featured actor at Two Roads International Film Festival, and I haven't even seen this thing. You know what I mean? Like it didn't make any sense to me, but yeah, it all kind of spiraled after the dispensary, and me and my missus broke up. She slept with my roommate 2 weeks after we broke up, and it was just chaos, right? So I was in kind of like the darkest place of my mind.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but Bud saved me, you know what I mean? Like I went and hung out at the back of this cafe, which was across the road from the dispensary, and there was a Rasta there, Rast Nikolesh Naya. And this was...
She give a shout out.
Yeah. This was one of the wisest men and figures I have ever met in my life, brother. But this Rasta, he saved me, you know what I mean, in that dark time in my life. And he also boxed as well. And that's where I guess the first spark with the passion for my hands came through. He showed me the power in my hands and throwing my hands, and went to the gym and sparred with him, and we would just play chess and discuss life and box. And I landed an agent who was an Aussie guy from Melbourne, Jackson Ezard. Yeah, I spotted him when I was just sussing agents. And the thing is, it's so weird over there. Is like I would send my stuff out and I would get like 100% hit rate. It's like when people saw my work and saw my experience, they were so keen for it. Because in North America, on that side of the world, it's so different, man.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like I talked to people on set because like I would do part-time like extras work, right? To make like money because I wasn't at the dispensary anymore. And there's so much film productions going on there, so you can. And I would talk to actors, like people who want to be actors. I'm like, oh, that's mad, bro. Like, where did you study? Like, what method are you into? You know what I mean? Where did you train? And they're like, oh, no, I just think I have a really good look. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh, okay. And it's like, oh, I get it now. Every second person wants to be an actor on that side of the world. Every second person wants to be a star, brother. That's what it is. Every single person wants to be famous. They want to be a star. It's got nothing to do with the craft.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the art, you know? So I think, you know, like when agents saw like my resumes and whatnot and my work, they were keen, you know? And so I ended up getting represented by this guy and auditioning for a bunch of stuff like Deadpool 2, like Skyscraper, Dwayne Johnson's films, you know? Got some callbacks here and there, got really close. Made that feature film with Michael Beffaro. And then my visa ran out. Yeah, my 2-year visa ran out just as I was falling in love with this little Italian girl. And so I had to kind of leave my whole life. I was living with this Irish lad, which was like my best friend, like the funniest guy in the world, man. Like the best storyteller you ever met in your life. We call him Chippy because he's a carpenter. Chippy! You know? Like, I just love this lad. But yes, I had to leave Chippy. And I had to leave my whole life behind. And I came back to Australia. Just spiraled, bro. Just spiraled. I'm back in my parents' storage room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just spiraling. And thank God, luckily, Hunter McMahon reached out to me. Hunter McMahon heard I was back in Australia. So Hunter McMahon taught me at New York Film Academy full-time Meisner. So once again, I was doing beginner Meisner full-time. You know what I mean? Right. For the 5th time in my life in 2014.
Yeah.
So I'm hashing out the foundation of Meisner for the 5th time in my life. Anyways, but I come back and here we go again. Hunter hits me up. He's like, listen, bro, we've opened a school. Yeah. This is where I met you later on, but I think they originally started as like Pale Blue Dot or something like that. It was
above the pub in Surrey Hills.
Oh, yeah? I wasn't at that one. No, when I got back, they were already in Redfern.
There was a gallery, an art gallery.
Oh, serious?
They had a little spot there for a bit, yeah. Because I found out about that from Stephen Hunter.
Stephen Hunter.
Yeah. Because I met him on set of a film as well, and he said, "Well, is there anything else I can do?" Because I was at a theatre school and I wasn't really enjoying it because of all the shit that was happening there. So like, I wouldn't mind doing other things, you know. So I just wanted to be really like in it all the time, you know. So
what was so amazing about like I guess Hunter and his school, especially the McMahon brothers, is that they have such an innovative approach to the craft. You know what I mean?
Skip talking. I just got it.
Yeah, do you think? Whereas the Actors Pulse is like, you know, they were stuck in the OG way of doing Meisner.
Yeah, right.
You know what? Like at the Pulse, they would really stretch out how long you're there, and they would make you start again every single time. And it just seemed more of like a great business model to keep you there for the longest amount of time. You know what I mean? And they would give you barely any information, and the classes are packed, bro, with like over 30 people. You're barely getting 10 minutes to work. You know what I mean? And so Hunter like saw the problems in that, and Hunter had a really innovative approach. And not only was he doing Meisner, but he was bringing other experts in. You know what I mean? And that's when like my kind of epiphany started, because I was so hard stuck on Meisner as well. But then you started to look at fighting, which I was falling in love with, and you see the same arguments in fighting, right? Like boxing's the best one, Taekwondo is the best one, you know, Muay Thai is the best one, right? Same with acting. Meisner's the best, Adler's the best, Strasbourg's the best. You know what I mean? And so, but you saw this evolution in the fighting world where MMA came along, where it was taking the best parts of every method and it was the next evolution of fighters. And that's when it triggered in me, and that kind of spark popped open where it was like, brother, this is the next evolution of actors, man. It's not one method. It is all methods. You take which tool works in which scenario. Meisner is unbelievable for set. Living truthfully under the imaginary circumstance, brother, getting yourself out of your head, putting yourself on the other person. Meisner is unparalleled. but it may lack qualities in the audition room where you're not getting much from the other person. Yeah, you can put all your attention on them, but you know, there may be other methods with character and other things that can help you, you know what I mean? And Meisner may not be the best one. So you saw this pattern of Meisner actors who were phenomenal actors, but they weren't the best auditioners.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I got back from Canada, that's when I found Maha Wilson and I found the scene on screen. And I realized my whole life, for the last 10 years, I had been learning how to act, but I never learned how to audition, bro. And Maha was a fucking expert at the audition game. I gotta give her credit. Like, she had this innate ability to be able to toss a scene on its head. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing some priest scene and he's visiting some woman's house to say sorry for her husband's loss. How are we gonna toss this on its head? And Maha will chuck something just to like shake everyone up. Okay, the priest killed the husband and the husband's in the freezer. You know what I mean? Just the most craziest things, right? And so you would see all these actors do it the same way. And then you would implement this thing where it's completely tossed on its head. And just the behavior alone is so different from watching everyone else, just in the eyes, because it is so far from the preconceived idea of how you think the scene should be. You know what I mean? Which is everyone that's going in there to do it.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to do it the right way. You know what I mean? And so you have just this kind of same 1,000 people coming in and out, and it's boring. You know what I mean? So she had this great way of tossing it in its head. So that, I combined Maha Wilson scene on screen, which I ended up teaching a little bit as well, some of her classes after a year, because I adapted it so quickly, and also combining that with Hunter and Redfern, and he would bring in some amazing people, which is then where I ended up doing advanced Meisner with Luke Ford as well, where that's where I fell in love with Luke Ford, and that's where I actually gained a mentor in Luke Ford. Luke Ford ended up being one of my best friends, still is to this day, you know what I mean? And, you know, after, there was a really dark period, man. You know, I was at the Sydney Acting Studio on and off for about 2 years after I got back from Canada. I joined Kevin Jackson's class. Kevin Jackson, phenomenal teacher. God rest his soul. You know what I mean?
We'll get back to him.
Yeah. And he'll forever live on, bro, in our art. You know what I mean? We'll get back to him, yeah. But yeah, so I was doing Kevin's class, ended up getting the lead role in the play that he was doing. But there was a guy there, Angelo. I guess we didn't see eye to eye. I don't want to get too much into it, you know what I mean? Because I made mistakes as well, you know what I mean? But Angelo kind of had Kevin's ear at the time. And they ended up kicking me out of the play. Not just out of the play, they kicked me out of the studio. And it was the first play that Hunter didn't produce. And Hunter really understood me, but Angelo didn't. You know what I mean? And
is this the Bronx?
Waiting for Lefty.
Yeah, Waiting for Lefty, yeah.
Yeah, this was Waiting for Lefty. And so I got kicked out of the play and out of the studio. Shattered my heart, you know what I mean? Because I had just done like 3 months with Kevin Jackson, bro, and I was one of the only people to get a compliment from the guy because he just rips everybody. He just rips everybody. And there was one moment where I did a Shakespeare monologue, and it was the first monologue I ever learned in drama, to be or not to be. And it's so interesting because it discusses suicide, but I never really understood the context. You know, before I was just saying Shakespeare. But as my life goes on, I always come back and I retouch to that monologue, especially the darkest places of my mind in my life, and I really start to understand, you know, what Shakespeare was talking about. You know what I mean? And it was the first monologue I learned. Like my ABCs, like what Meisner was talking about. He was talking about you have to know your lines like your ABCs so that you can completely be truthful and present in the moment. So like, see how we're talking now, I don't know what I'm going to say next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on how you react dictates how I say the next thing.
Yeah.
And the only way to reach that level of acting, to replicate life on stage or in film, is to eliminate thought. And the only way to eliminate thought is to not think about your lines. If you're reaching for a line, you are never going to be able to reach that level.
Yeah.
You know, I can say it like the back of my hand, but to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobly in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to die to sleep no more and by sleep to say, we can do the whole thing, but I'm not going to waste your time. You know what I mean? And so, where was I going with this? Yeah. So we're at Sydney Acting Studio. I get kicked out. And I started writing a script with Maha Wilson and her sister and a few other people from the class. And so I so I write the first page of this script. We all had this idea and it was all in the air, called the audition bus. And I write the first page of this script. And so I put it onto paper and then everything branched off that first page. Even though the first page changed and there was a lot of different drafts, I missed a meeting towards the end of it. And it was another dark place in my life where I just gotten fired from my job, just broken up with my girl. And I was living in a place that my boss owns. So he then kicked me out of the place without any notice, really. And this was right as we were supposed to start filming, or leading up to it. And I didn't show up to a meeting, and they ended up kicking me out and replacing me with someone.
Wow.
Again, bro. And this happened in the span, the studio, and then that happened within a span of 6 to 9 months. It's heavy, bro.
Yeah.
It's heavy, man.
Yeah.
And so there's this point in my life where I'm 10 years into acting, have never seen a paycheck. Every single person is giving up on me. Even my best friends don't even want to make a pilot with me that I wrote the first page of. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, I made mistakes, bro. I'm not making excuses like, oh, they did this, that. No, I was troubled. I was a troubled young man, you know what I mean, with a lot of unfaced trauma, you know what I mean? And it was consuming my life. Yeah. And so this happened, and that was one of the darkest points of my life. The dip, that 10-year mark, bro, was it. So I stopped acting and I went again to work for some cafe, in the middle of a pandemic where COVID had just started and this guy just opened up his cafe. So I took this cafe from nothing to...
This is in Liverpool, right?
Nah, this one was in Fairfield.
Fairfield, yeah.
XO Cafe.
I remember this one.
Yeah. But I loved this guy. I fell in love with his owner, you know what I mean? But obviously, I had a lot of ideas and a lot of people got in my way, you know what I mean, which hinders me. And it was difficult because there was no one on the street because it was COVID. This cafe should not have survived. It should not have survived, bro. The food was doing $100 a day. I was carrying this thing with the coffee, you know what I mean? Carrying it, bro. I took it from, $300 a day to $1,500 a day in coffee. You know what I mean? Went through 2 panic attacks, because I had been doing coffee for so long as well as acting, bro. I'm approaching a level of mastery in both my crafts, you know what I mean? I'd been doing it for 10 years at that point. And so I did it for a year. Then I left because I was just so unfulfilled, man. I took this from $300 to $1,500 a day and I couldn't even get $1 pay rise, you know what I mean? I couldn't even get a pay rise, bro. And I was doing so much for what? Just exhausting myself for nothing, And then my whole world was I was being swallowed, It was just so dark. And I didn't know how to speak to myself in a good way. All my thoughts and my life was so dark because my inner being, my inner self, my inner thoughts were so dark, man. I would speak to myself in my father's voice. I would speak to myself in my older sister's voice, who originally got me into acting, but now probably feels guilty because sees my life spiraling. So she's like, why don't you get a real job? Why don't you get a mortgage? Meet someone, have a kid, have a family, this white picket fence dream that never really resonated with me ever. You know what I mean? And thank God for Melissa Papa, you know what I mean? This Italian girl that popped into my life when I was doing a 2-week trial at a cafe, just pumping coffee, and this beautiful Italian girl walks in and my whole world just kind of fucking stops, bro. You know what I mean? And just this aura that this woman carried, her presence, bro, it just shook me, you know what I mean? And who's now my shaman, she's my shaman, I call her my shaman, who is now my shaman now, my spiritual guide, and who is now my best friend now, but at the time, darkest place in my life, this friendship created, I was lost, but there was Luke Ford there, bro, who was constantly kind of just pinching at me, you know what I mean? And Ford was like, keep going, bro. Frangie, you got it. And Ford had it, bro. Ford was an A-lister, played Brendan Fraser's son, Mummy 3. So he reached the pinnacle and then crumbled as well. So he knows all that too well. And now, he's pushing it, you know what I mean? But he had a very dark time as well. And so I think because, he experienced that and he kind of took that first bullet, he knew where I was, you know what I mean? And so Ford kept pushing me, bro. He kept pinching me. He didn't let me drown. Same with Mel, you know what I mean? They didn't let me drown on myself. Same with Chris and Bob, you know what I mean? Like, I had these people in my life that just, even though everybody else felt like they gave up on me, especially my family and a lot of my friends, like, I had my Serbs as well, who are like my keeper, bro, like Big Baby and Future and Stim, like the guys I went to Canada with, you know what I mean? They're my best friends, but they have lives, like, you know what I mean? Like families and lives and girlfriends, and that's what happens, like you drift off, you know what I mean? I love them to death, but you drift off, like. And so it was the darkest point in my life, the most suicidal I've ever been. The most I've ever understood Shakespeare, mind you, but the most suicidal I've ever been. And then my shaman blessed me with a beautiful plant medicine. We can call it that, you know what I mean? A beautiful little psychedelic, you know what I mean? I should most definitely be legalized, and it's starting to be legalized in parts of the world. And my whole world changed, brother. You know what I mean? Like, I transcended, bro. Like I saw 1,000 different versions of myself. I had a merger with her. I saw, I think, like at the time I was God, like I am everything and I am nothing, like we are all one, we are one immortal spiritual being, we are all connected, we just occupy these physical shells for this time being, and it was just wild, something like world shattering, reality shattering, right? And some people might criticize me about talking about this, like, hey bro, don't talk about that, you know, like acting, whatever, this, that, but I am so sick of my voice being dimmed, my light being dimmed, brother. If I can't have a voice in the arts, where else can I have a fucking voice? You know what I mean?
That's everyone, you know.
Yeah.
Like everyone's been shut off for a long time.
Yeah, especially in COVID, bro. Especially in COVID, voices have been shut down and silenced. And I think a lot of people come to the arts because they feel they have this voice that isn't being heard, or they want to be heard, you know.
It's a weird aspect, because like people come to the arts because they want to be heard, and then they end up going into the arts and then finding out, wait a minute, even in the arts sometimes I'm finding it that it's being closed off as well.
Yeah, bro, massively.
And it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. Yeah. But I'm like, and it was so whitewashed, man. You know what I mean? Like, especially being a young Lebanese man from the West, I'm like 6 years into my career and I'm watching white guys from Pack to the Rafters play Lebos on Underbelly. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I can't even get an audition for that. I can't even get in the room to audition for a Lebo. You know what I mean? It's wild, right? And so my whole world changes after this thing. I hit up Hunter 3 days later. Hunter tells me Angelo's no longer there. He would love for me to come back. So 3 days later, I go back to acting. And we have the discussion, okay, let's say I have lived these 1,000 lives. Let's say I have been here 1,000 times. What is it in this lifetime that I truly want? And I've always had that answer. The exploration of soul, human behavior, of art, of acting, emotion, the colors on the piano, as Meisner would describe it. It takes 20 years to be an actor because it takes so much time to learn all the different colors and the notes on the piano, right? And so I went back to my craft, and I just knew, like, if I just kept going, bro, if I became the best actor in the world, surely eventually someone would notice, right? But not only that, I went back to my craft, not caring if I was good. I didn't fucking care if I was good, bro. I didn't care if you picked me. I was here purely for the own exploration of my soul and my craft, brother. I am up here playing the piano of the last 10 years of my life. Whether you like it or not, it does not matter, brother. It does not matter if this industry picks me. It does not matter who, man, woman, race war. It does not fucking matter anymore, brother, because I picked me now, brother. It does not matter if you love me. So much of my life, the trauma was wanting to be, I guess, loved. You know what I mean? So caught up in the gluttony of life, bro. Trying to find happiness in pleasure, in the drugs, in the drink, in the women. But there was just darkness there, brother. It was unfulfilling. You know what I mean? And it just kept getting darker. But then I found this. And my art had reached a new level, and I was just grinding, brother. And I just made sure to try and eliminate that shadow of my former self that didn't show up to classes and that kept coming late. You know what I mean? I just promised myself, you know, I would hear Aaron Glenane talk about it, how like people would talk about Aaron Glenane, how no matter what happened, Aaron would always just show up. Rain, hail or fucking shine, bro, Aaron shows up. And I tried to implement this mentality, right? And so I just kept showing up, bro. And there was so many fucking days I didn't want to go, but I just showed up anyway. And those were some of the days I did my best work, bro. You know what I mean? Because I was in pain, but I made art out of that pain. You know what I mean? And so I just grinded, bro. And I developed new teachers, great teachers. Adam Dunn came into the mix, you know what I mean? And many other great teachers that they brought to the studio. And then 2 years of hard work, and then moving out of my parents onto my own, which I think is so important, man. Like isolation is so important for growth, brother. So many people like, they look for the happiness a lot of the time in relationships. And so did I, bro. You would hop from one relationship to another, or you would get into a relationship young and get married early, and you move out of your parents' house into this relationship. And the next thing you know, you're married and you're in your 30s and you realize, fuck, I don't even know who I am. And I see that so much amongst my friends, and getting divorced early at a young age and only now starting to find themselves. You know what I mean? Which is so wild to think about. So although my journey has been so dark, I have been blessed in a way. And then lo and behold, I became celibate, because so much of my journey was shaken up by women. I would get into some relationship, get my heart broken, spiral, drink, and it was just a pattern that kept happening. And it was my shaman that helped me realize that a lot of great men in history never found the great versions of themselves until they had a sort of abstinence from women. And so I stopped. I started pushing girls away, even girls in my inbox messaging me. I just started pushing everybody away. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. Even only just last week, I conquered my final vice, which was cannabis. You know, I'd smoked cannabis every day for the last 7 years. And I think plant medicine is a beautiful, stunning thing, bro, and it saved my life, and I will fight anyone for it. But anything where you consume with a gluttonous approach and that you are abusing is poison. It does not matter how beneficial or how healing it is. If you abuse it, it will punish you. And that's what I was doing, bro. It's because I didn't want to think, I didn't want to face my demons, bro. So I was conquering, like I was hazing it out. You know what I mean? But I started to do the work on my own in isolation. I started to face the trauma, and what changed my life is I started, and my shaman was really harsh on this about me, because I would have really negative self-talk. I was always the butt of the joke with my friends, and I allowed myself to be the butt of the joke. You know what I mean? And it was hard. That's why I had to isolate. It's because you start to change and you start to transition into this new version of yourself, but your friends only know the former version of you and only treat you as the former version of you, as the young boy, the butt of the joke, not the man that you are transitioning into now. And so that isolation is required because it is constantly triggering you, you know what I mean? So I had to isolate for a year, change my self-talk, change the way that I speak to myself. And my fucking reality, bro, was directly linked with the manifestation of my thoughts, brother. When I would see occupation on things, you know what I used to write as a joke? I used to write struggling actor. I used to write struggling actor, bro, reaffirming it, writing struggling actor as my occupation for 13 years, brother. No wonder why I never made it. You know what I mean? I was reaffirming it, I was manifesting that. But I put in the work, I changed my self-talk, I changed my inner being, and Chris and Bob took me to this breath work, which I just bored my eyes out in, man. And I realized like that my sister, although was originally the thing that ignited my acting, is now one of the biggest obstacles in my way to continue. And that was the same with a lot of people in my life. And so, you know, isolated, did the work, and what do you know, a story drops out of nowhere about a Lebanese family from Tripoli, mind you, 10 minutes from my dad's village, Zgharte, who out of all the places in the world moved to Marylands, which is where my parents had a house for 30 years, Guildford on the border of Marylands. You know, I was crying, bro, listening to these guys' stories, you know, like talking about Church Street Para, City Extra. Like, I worked on Santuario for 5 years. Like, these were my stories, you know. Who's closer to these stories than me besides like Maria Tran from Cabra, you know what I mean? Like, these were our stories, bro, Western Sydney stories. And I am in the sharpest place I am in my craft. 13 years in the game, brother. 40 short films under my belt, 3 feature films. Been working for exposure my whole life, but I am the clearest I've ever been, the most sober I've ever been, the most, like the sharpest I have ever been with my craft, and with absent of fear. You know what I mean? And this audition dropped in my lap, and there was a massive role I thought I was going to get, which was, you know, 7 episodes. I killed the audition, but they ended up giving it to another guy. But they made me an offer. My agent calls me at 10 p.m. Mind you, my agent, so December 2021, after my 2 years of grinding Sydney Acting Studio, I'm looking for agents again because like my teachers are whispering in my ear, come on bro, it's time, like you should be working, like it works great. So I go looking for an agent, and guess who I find? My fucking Canadian agent from Melbourne. He moved to the UK, started his own agency, fell in love with a UK girl who wanted to move to Australia. So came back to Australia, started an agency, only has 10 people on his books. The only guy who ever fucking took a chance on me just so happens to be back in Australia the same time I am reaching my fucking pinnacle. Tell me that isn't fate, brother. When you are ready, the opportunity will present itself to you because I have done the work. Let's imagine a scale, right? I want this career, this fulfilling career that is not only fulfilling, but that also pays for my life and pays for all these things. That is a fucking massive thing that I am asking for, brother. You know what I mean? I am gonna have to put some serious thing on the other side of that scale to balance that scale. Okay, here's 13 years of work. Okay, bro, here's my dick. You know what I mean? His celibacy, brother. His alcohol, his drugs. I'll give it all up. I'll give it all to you, brother. What now? My side of the scale seems a little bit heavy now, doesn't it? Okay, the agent comes into the play. The audition comes into the play. My agent calls me at 10 p.m. My agent never calls me, bro. What's happening here? I pick up the phone. Hey, brother, I got good news and bad news. I'm like, no, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, brother. I'm like, nah, Wally Menzel is mine. What do you mean, you know? This is my time, my time. And he's like, yeah, look, bad news. You didn't get the role, but they want to make you an offer. I'm like, offer? What do you mean, offer? I've never heard those words before. Like, what do you mean they want to make me an offer? And he's like, so if you want the part, it's yours. You don't have to audition for it. But it's a much smaller part. And me just hearing those words, bro, I'm losing my mind in my kitchen there. You know what I mean? Like, but there is no small parts. What do you mean? There is the fucking 30 minutes or 30 seconds, brother. I'll give him a shot and get me in there. You know what I mean? Just losing it. So I get this. They send me the script. And I've got to be gutted. You know what I mean? And I had to conquer that bit of my mind. I snapped it up real quick because we have been through so much at this point. Like this version of me at this point is so resilient, bro. So resilient. And I feel like that's the dark and the over the decade and all this stuff is because from a very young age, I manifested best actor in the world, best actor in the world. But brother, if I got it early at the version of myself that I was, I would have spiraled. I saw it to guys, bro. Lebo guys that got it before me that were 2 years into the game and it got to their ego.
Yep, I know what you're saying.
You know, and they started coming late to say, and they started skipping days even, and their name became poison in the industry. You know what I mean? And here you are, casting directors seeing me for the first time they've ever seen me, and I'm 13 years in the game. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? And so I get this thing, and it just so happens to be I'm on set on back-to-back days on set on my 29th birthday. You know what I mean? Like best birthday present you ever could have asked for. You know what I mean? Like it was just wild, bro. And now Tim Roth is on it. Tim Roth, bro. Like you're living out your very own fucking Tarantino dream. You know what I mean? I'm standing next to Tim Roth. Tim Roth's like, "Oh, bro, I don't want to hurt you." I'm like, "Bro, Tim Roth, punch me in the face, bro. Please, I'd love to tell my friends about this, bro. Please, I'll spar, bro. I get boxed every day. Bro, please, just hit me, bro. Please, you know what I mean? Give me a bruise so I can tell someone, you know what I mean? Because I was boxing at the time, I had my first boxing fight, which again, you know, Joesph Solomon, Phoenix Combat, and Martin Toma, you know, they knew I had talent in my hands, so they brought me in. I fell in love with this coach, and he helped me have my first boxing fight, which reignited my strength as well and my physicality. So I brought that to my acting now as well, because I only had 2 scenes. I was actually like a one-liner, bro. It was supposed to be a line and a half, because the half a line gets cut off, right? But there were 2 fighting scenes, and I box, man. You know what I mean? And I was getting fit in the costume room, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have 2 of these shirts." I'm like, "Why do you need 2 of these shirts?" They're like, "Oh, one for your stunt double." I'm like, "Stunt double? What are you talking about, bro? I'm a fighter, you know, I do my own fights." Like, I would love to. Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't need lines. I specialize in behavior. I specialize in Meisner. Like, even just the way my behavior is in the fight scene, I can tell a story. Whether I'm reluctant to fight, whether I'm aggressive, you know, what I'm on. There's so many stories I can tell with the character arc of my behavior. So I was gunning for those fight scenes, that screen time. Like, fuck putting a stunt double on the floor and you're just kicking him and you don't see my face. So they're like, "You know what, that's a great idea. Let's email the director." They emailed the director. 10 minutes later, they're like, "Okay, why don't you go past and meet the stunt coordinators?" I go past, I meet these stunt coordinators, and they're these like 2 Hamish and Andy guys, bro. And they're just like, "So what do you know about fighting?" And then we just hit it off, bro. Next thing you know, we're play fighting, bro. We're sparring in this office, bro. Everyone's got masks on, and we're like wrestling and stuff, you know what I mean, in COVID. And they just fell in love with me, and they're like, "Yeah, hectic." You know what I mean? You can't come rehearsals and stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, no dramas, bro." So my 2 scenes turned into 4 scenes. And so I can't talk obviously too much about what happens in the show. I'm not going to talk about what happens.
It's out like soon.
It comes out Friday, baby.
Friday, yeah.
February 17th, yeah. It's crazy. I keep saying like...
Yeah, just everyone is live at the moment. Yeah, it's on.
Paramount Plus, February 17th, this Friday. Make sure you check it out. I'm in the first episode. So you're going to see your boy right off the bat.
This podcast will come out in another 2 weeks. So whoever's listening now, it came out 2 weeks prior. So yeah.
Oh, so I'm allowed to talk about stuff a little bit.
Oh, no, that's live.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, no.
That one's live.
I'm not going to say anything.
You was going to be
Don't do
cancelled.
anything. Don't do it. I'm sorry.
You was going to be cancelled.
Oh my God, sorry. All right. I won't talk too much about it, but
No.
there is one scene,
Yeah.
which was like my main scene. Let's say, you know, my one line or whatever, you know, or 1 or 2 lines. But he says a lengthy amount of stuff that I can react behavior wise, right? And so this guy is an older Arab gentleman. And there is one trigger that I have kind of been honing my whole life, you know what I mean? And I've been able to reach places in my acting, especially with vulnerability. Thank you to a Romanian actress, award-winning actress, Clara Vorda, who taught me that strength is in vulnerability and not in pride and ego. Because in the Lebanese community, it is weak to show emotion. You know what I mean? But that... hiding that anybody can hide and tuck down that emotion. It takes true bravery to preach what you feel without fear, because you're scared that you may look weak. That's why you don't show vulnerability. Oh, they're going to think I'm weak. That's fear.
Yeah.
But to take the mask off and say, these are my deepest, darkest secrets, brother, and this is how I feel, whether you fucking like it or not, that takes bravery, that takes courage, that takes strength. And that's what Clara taught me. You know what I mean? So, and that was at knife at a very, you know, early on in my career. So I have been honing my vulnerability, and there is one specific trigger which is very common among a lot of young ethnic men, and that is, and so it was like, it wasn't 30 seconds. Like, yeah, but there's 100 people on set, everyone calls, you know, action, and everyone's looking at you, and a lot of people crumble under that pressure. But brother, I eat pressure. I find the best versions of myself under pressure. I was at set, even though I had a dark shadow in my past of coming late, brother, I was on set an hour early every day because I was just so happy to be there, and I didn't care about the drink or the party or the rap party or anything anymore. It was 13 years for this 30 seconds, brother. And I have a moment to show the world this trigger that I have been honing my whole life, right? So we do the scene, take my mask off, give it to the other person. They call cut. And Kieran Darcy Smith walks out. And you should have seen the look on this lad's face, bro. It was just, in my mind, it was like, oh, finally, someone sees. Kieran Darcy Smith walks out and he's a bit shocked because I'm just supposed to be some bit part, bro, like some one liner, some guy, you know what I mean? And he walks out and he's like, Frangie, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, you didn't know I had that, huh? You know what I mean? And the camera guy's like, oh, Kieran, how do you want us to set up the shot? And Kieran's like, brother, it doesn't matter how you, it doesn't say brother, I'll say brother. Yeah. He's like, it doesn't matter how you set up the shot, the performance carries this. And I just crumbled a little bit on the inside, bro. I was like, finally I got my shot. It didn't matter, bro, 30 seconds, 30 minutes, it didn't fucking matter, bro. It was 13 years in that 30 seconds, you know what I mean? Finally someone saw. So we wrap up, I have the best fucking experience of my life, got to live out my dream, and then I message production coordinator. I'm like, hey, can I cut my hair? Can I change my look now? She's like, oh, Joesph, just hold on for a second because there's whispers that they might want you back for another scene. I'm like, oh, yeah, probably I'm just in the background or something anyways. Bro, so they delete 2 scenes from the script. And this is $50 million budget, bro. This is Paramount, bro. I don't know if they do these things often. But, bro, they delete 2 scenes in the script and they write me in, bro.
Wow.
They wrote me in, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even just saying that, cuz, like, and fucking shout out to Kieran Darcy Smith, and shout out to Catherine and Grant and the directors and the stunt coordinators and all the fucking amazing people on that set. Like, what an amazing production, bro. I know it's just going to be a banger. But fucking thank you, bro. You know what I mean? Thank you for seeing me, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I don't care about being picked anymore. Love, it doesn't matter. I pick me now, but like, finally someone saw, you know what I mean? What it is I've been fucking working on this whole time. And, you know, they wrote me into 2 scenes. I had a ball of a time, and my 2 scenes and 1.5 lines turned into 6 scenes and 6 days on set. So for all the fucking actors out there are no small parts, brother. Come early, find your professional version of yourself. Come ready with your lines. Come ready to rock and roll. Come ready to bang out the first take. Don't warm up into your takes, bro. Being on set is expensive, and time is money, and people need to hustle, bro. So you don't want to fucking waste time warming up. Come ready to bang out your first take, so that they may have time to play with you, and you can get some good color. And you can muck around, you know what I mean? And have fun out there, bro. Just enjoy it. Don't worry about being good. Fuck them, bro. You are there for your art and your voice. And don't let anyone hinder your voice, brother. This is for you, you know? So just enjoy it and embrace it. And if you are true to yourself and your craft, they will see. They will see, man. You know what I mean? Stop chasing it. Change the work on you. Do the inner work. It starts with you, and you will be a magnet. They will come to you, bro. You will attract it. And so that wraps up. And then this year, I've had more auditions in January than I have pretty much my whole fucking life, brother. And Last King of the Cross hasn't even come out yet. So that's how I started acting, bro.
Oh my God.
Fuck, how long has it been, bro?
An hour.
No! I told you an hour. I knew it. I just knew. I'm like, listen, bro, I'm going to need a fucking hour, yeah?
That was like the easiest hour of interviewing I've ever done. It was great. It was really great, though. Like, thank you so much.
Sorry if I rambled a bit, bro.
Shut the fuck up.
No, yeah.
Thank
you know what? I'm not sorry, and
don't be
fuck
sorry.
yourself.
Yes.
And you know, I embrace my voice. I embrace my light, brother. And I should never see. That's that self-talk just there for me. Apologizing for that. I should not apologize.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being open,
mate.
Thank you for being honest. Thank you for detailing. One of the things that we were talking about in a lot of podcasts ago is how we don't talk about failure enough.
Oh,
you know,
that's where all growth comes from.
Exactly.
There's too many unheard, untold stories of all the actors who never made it, bro. You only hear about the ones that do.
Yeah.
You only hear about the ones that do, brother.
Yeah.
It was a very fine line, brother. I could not have been here, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for those certain people in my life that pulled me out of the darkest depths of my mind, I would not be here, brother. But that dark, now I found the brightest light in that darkness. You know what I mean? And I can now make very beautiful art, and I have no doubt in my mind, brother, that I'm going to do great things with my life and make amazing art that will be remembered throughout history. And this is the first ever podcast I've done. This is the OG. So, brother, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, brother. So let's fucking go, baby. The West is on the come up. Fucking the down under's on the come up, brother. Aussies are on the come up. Let's go. The States know there's something different down under, brother. Chookas, motherfuckers, we're coming. Let's go, baby.
Oh my God. I'm too emotional right now. I'm overstimulated and I'm just too emotional. You got me in like.
Well, look. I from my own curiosity, I'm really quickly.
Talk to me.
Twitch affiliate.
Oh yeah, bro.
So you stream?
I do stream, man. It's one of the big things that have helped me reach this version of myself now and found kind of my like leadership. Because I was playing a game called New World. I've been a gamer my whole life.
Oh, New World, yeah.
You know New World?
Yeah, I played it when it started.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, so like I was a governor of like 100 people company, and I would like lead them into war and do speeches. And because I'm really like excitable, and I'm really good at the game, you know, people really got behind it. And there was one clip that went viral. It was a governor who was like the main antagonist of the server, like fucking with everyone. And there was a war. And do you know what Discord is? It's like a mic thing that everyone gets into, and they talk on the mic, the whole army. And so I was camping this leader for half an hour, killing him over and over while his whole army is trying to protect him, but they can't get me because I'm too slippery. And so he was losing it and just raging in the Discord, raging it. And so from that day on, everybody started calling me Kingslayer.
Oh,
so that's my gaming persona now. We're actually making merch as well, bro. So like... that's what I'm saying. For so long of my life, even Billy Millionis used to say it to me, bro, if you acted as much as you played games, you'd be famous by now, this, that. So many people will hinder what you are, bro. I am a gamer. I've played games my whole life, brother. And so many people made me believe that this was something in the way of being a success or being whatever I am. But now I have a platform which I make art on, that I do things that I love, that people get behind, and I found a new beautiful version of myself that pays my bills. But I made like $2,000 in November for playing video games. They bought me a $300 rice cooker. You know what I mean? It's wild, bro.
It's awesome. I think
awesome.
Like you've got huge people like Henry Cavill, you know, who is streaming and stuff, and I think that might be the future of the way that people interact with actors and celebrities and stuff, you know, like
it's live, man.
It's live. You can chat with them. You can do stuff. You know, it's instead of previously maybe it was Twitter, or previously it was Instagram, or a website or a blog post. Now it can be instant. Now it could be,
and it's not just games, man.
A
lot of people do traveling, in real life stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that's one of the things I'll battled a little bit for a while. It's because I'm deep into like martial arts and stuff, you know. So I did amateur boxing and I'm doing jiu-jitsu now. Like people in the creative industry, in screen, stage, whatever it is, they're quick to judge by the person as soon as they walk in the room how they look like. And unless if you look like them and you talk like them, you can't be part of them. And I think it's really, really bullshit, because so many great people out there who are putting themselves through amazing a lot of risks to be in the industry, like such as yourself, you know, like other people who also have other lives, you know. And the thing about the arts, it's you. It doesn't pick you. Like it picks. So arts picks you. You don't pick the art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's a calling.
And I struggle with it a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people out there who are struggling with it as well. You know, they have to go to this play. They have to have this political view or social view,
100%,
or all that.
100%.
And it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit, bro.
Because it takes away a lot of the stories that we can make and understand each other. You know, like
100%.
You're not supposed to agree with everything.
Yeah,
like,
you're not. That's what I'm saying.
You're not supposed to agree with.
You need healthy debate.
Yeah, you need healthy debate. You can't get to an answer without debate, understanding and saying yes, okay, and being able to change people's mind or open people's mind. Rather.
Yes, exactly right. You have to be willing to be wrong.
Yeah, willing to be wrong. But a lot of people in the creative industry, and it's sad to say, in the creative industry are not like that.
Which is so wild.
It's so wild because I got into this industry because I thought I could find a place, and I thought I fell in love with it because it felt freeing, and I found a lot of really nice people.
Yeah,
which you don't find in the world. But then you get deeper, like it's very very similar. There's it's more toxic than people think it is, and a lot of people, and that's a high suicide rate in creative industry.
High suicide rate. I know guys personally, students that have passed away, especially in COVID, man.
And this is another thing why I have this podcast is so people like you and people like other people like James and myself, other people who can tell our stories.
That's what I was saying, bro. That's why when I got here, I was like, why are you doing half an hour, bro? I want to listen to more. The Maria Tran one was so good, bro. I want fucking 2 hours of Maria Tran, bro. Why are you stopping Maria Tran at half an hour, bro?
That's the working actor. I gotta let it go.
But that's what I'm saying is like, fuck them picking us, bro. We pick us. If they don't want to give us the chance, we'll make our chance. Yeah. You know what I mean? There are some amazing stories, bro, from those that aren't, you know, especially from the West and the war-torn families as well, you know, and ethnic families. Like, there's so much color, bro. There's so much story down under. And what Maria Tran mentioned as well was such a beautiful thing, how Australia has this kind of cultural thing they want to stick by of like, whatever, the surfer thing or the country thing. But Australia is a melting pot, brother. You know what I mean? I am Australian, brother, whether you like it or not. I am born and raised here. You know what I mean? I probably haven't really even said it out loud, but I am very fucking proud to be an Australian, brother. You know what I mean? And Kevin Jackson said something that seared into my mind, and it will stick with me for the rest of my fucking life, bro. And that he said, as actors, you are the storytellers of your tribe. And boy, did that resonate with me, man. I need to tell the stories, the untold stories that no one else is telling, you know, that they don't want to give us a chance on. But big shout out to like Anusha Zarkes and whoever else was like behind pushing diversity casting. And we actually have a diversity quota now. I didn't get an agent or an audition for 4 years, and then diversity quota came out and I got 6 auditions in 2 weeks. Like, finally we are being seen, and that's all we ever asked for. I don't care if you give me the role, just give me the opportunity to showcase my art to you and what it is I've been doing and what I can bring to the table. That's all I've ever asked for. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if you pick me, bro. I'm not here for you. We pick us, bro. We pick us. No chance, we'll make the chance. Let's go, baby.
Just quick, I know we got to wrap up, but like we said Kevin Jackson twice now, and I just want to quickly talk about him real quick because he passed away 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And I was really disheartened. Like I was in tears, man. Like because it was like when I first met him, I hated him.
Yeah, I remember. I was in that class.
No. No, that's something which I'll tell you later about. Right, but
you've had some run-ins with KJ, bro.
No. Because I met him 2 years prior to that, and he came into class, and I've told the story many times, but I'll tell you again real quick. He basically came into class, and he was directing one of our scene. We had scene class on Fridays at this theatre school I went to, and he was upset. Not upset, but he was upset with how the scenes were going, whatever. So he got everyone all the students to stand up, and he said that he mentioned a few plays and a few films. And he said, if you have seen these, please sit down. Now, mind you, it was me. There was a Kurdish girl who was my ex-partner, and there was another. I forgot her name. She was Asian. I forgot what her name was. But only 3 of us stood up because we hadn't seen those films and plays. Oh, okay. Right, and everyone sat the fuck down. And I didn't know who he was at the time. So I'm like, in my mind, I was like, fuck you. Who the fuck do you think you fucking white? Like I was losing my shit. But then I saw him a few weeks later at a first play I've ever seen in Sydney in my life. Yeah. And he walked up to me, and I thought he would have forgotten me by now. He walked up. So what have you read since last time I saw you? What film have you seen? Like, he was interested in me.
Of course.
And I'm like, oh.
in your progress.
He wasn't bullshitting.
Nah, bro.
And then I did a few things with him later, and I'm like, oh man, this guy really does want you to grow.
It's just because he's no bullshit.
He's
bro.
no bullshit.
Which I fell in love with.
And I know there's a lot of people out there who don't resonate towards negative reinforcement or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But for me, it was great because it really felt like he wanted me to achieve.
Yeah, bro.
And you need to be taken to deep waters.
Fucking A, bro.
It's like,
especially in an industry with so many people piss in your pocket, bro. With so many people piss in your pocket, you need that. Everyone does, bro.
Oh, haha, very good, very good.
Like they just sugarcoat it and pat them on the back. So to have someone to break that shell, man, to really fucking chip at your shell, bro, that's what it takes. Because it takes you breaking down and rebuilding that foundation. It needs to break that shell. And he knew that, bro. He knew that.
I can't believe you remember that moment.
Yeah, I do, bro. 100%.
Because I was so I was more pissed at the other person. Because she didn't know that I had a relationship. He knows me, right?
Yeah.
And I had just joined that class that first week, and I didn't know that.
I remember, bro. We've been there a little bit. Yeah.
Sorry, just for the listeners, can you really quickly explain what you're talking about?
Do you remember it?
Yeah, well, we were doing KJ's class, and Neil popped out of nowhere, and we had work already prepared. And KJ always gives you homework, you know what I mean? So you got to come ready to fucking rock and roll. And here's Neil, bro, fish out of fucking water, cuz. And like I'm sitting there like, bro, this guy's got no idea what is in for, bro. You get slammed, and that's what happened, bro. KJ fucking whipped into him.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. Like, it was great,
but the joke was you and KJ already knew each other.
He knew, like we know each other, but like because like I didn't know everyone had done the work, and I just joined the class, and we were cold reading, and there's one fucking word I forgot the word. There's one fucking word, and because I got dyslexia, like I'm like fucking reading, pushing these lines, and I'm sweating, but he was correct. He said what he said basically: don't come into class with your dick hanging out. Come into class ready to learn and be humble, right? And be open. And I sort of I do get it, because I did come into class being hoo-ha, because I got a theatre school, I'm an actor, like I just did Shakespeare, just did Macbeth. Like fucking, like what does that mean? Like nothing, like doesn't mean nothing. But
you got to eliminate the ego and be a student again.
And that type of hard learning is really important for a lot of people, especially for someone like me. Like
shapes you as a person.
It does, man. Like,
not just an actor.
And there's a lot of actors out there and a lot of creators out there who are not hard on themselves, and I know it's difficult because it's a difficult industry, but like you got to put
you need to do the work. You need to face the music, the dark, rough music. It's okay, bro. Boil your eyes out. Good. It means you're learning, bro. It means like some trauma's coming out. You got to get that poison out, bro. You can't just like ignore the poison and haze it off, with gluttony or toxic stuff or drugs or drink after class. How long are we going?
No.
We'll wrap up eventually.
I love it. This is the first podcast on Chookas over 1 hour.
This is day one.
Day one. Do you know what I love? That I'm the 30th person. I fucking love that I'm the 30th person that you've had here, because I turned 30 this year. And it is the death of my 20s. I'm really honestly, bro, seeing someone in front of you that is really, really transcending, bro, like really, really operating at a different frequency and a vibration that he ever has before. You know what I mean? And it really makes me emotional, and it brings me a lot of joy, and it's just wild. And on my 30th birthday, I'm going to kill Frangie, like the characterized version of myself, my 20s, with like the main things that he's known for: the Timberland boots, the blue jeans, the leather jacket, and the sunglasses. Yeah, you notice how I don't wear any of them anymore, bro. Even the stuff I'm wearing now, I don't like, man. It's because I'm moving like so rapidly through versions of myself that like even the clothing doesn't really represent how I feel inside anymore. You know what I mean? It's wild. So on my 30th birthday, I'm going to burn those things, bro.
When's your birthday?
July 21st. I'm a Cancer baby, water sign on the cusp of Leo leadership and fucking vulnerability.
I'm 6 days after you.
My man.
This has been
When's your birthday?
September 29.
Okay, we'll just ask one.
Libra.
Ooh, all right.
I don't know what that
That's
means.
all. I'm not going to tell you things about it, but hectic.
we got to wrap this up. But
let's go.
Look, I don't want to downplay anything like we discussed today. I mean, I'm happy. I'm just thank you so much for sharing all those things with us.
Thank you, bro.
And this is exactly what I want this platform to be about.
Yeah.
And you just made me think about a lot of other stuff that I haven't thought about in a long time. And you have to sometimes remember how you started off.
Yeah,
and you made me remember why I started doing this.
And it gives you a chance to appreciate where you are now, man. Like, look how far you've come. I'm proud of you, bro. You know what I mean? I'm fucking proud of you, bro. Thank you, both of you. Thank you so much for giving us young Aussie actors on the come up a platform, man, to tell our story, because it's a lot of unheard stories, bro. And who knows, maybe my story might help another artist in that dark place on the come up, you know, and just keep going, bro. Just keep moving, as hard as it is, as painful as it is, bro. It'll shape you, you know. It'll build character. So do the work, keep pushing, bro.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Thank you for coming along.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a massive pleasure.
Thank you.
And we'll have to interview you again at some point.
Brother, I'm coming back, don't you worry. This is my first podcast. You don't think I'm going to keep doing visits? I'll be back, don't worry.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm lost for words at the moment. So anyway.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.